everybody, this is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys today? I am definitely excited to be here with you, and I hope that you're excited to watch my video. I do have a couple of things just to talk about before we get started. We're going to make this gorgeous card with this beautiful underwater scene. I love scene building with our stamps. They do such a beautiful job with that. And we're using the Seize the Day bundle, which has all the stamps that I've used, and also this beautiful die set, which cut out these popped up pieces that are on the outside of our card. So also this piece of seaweed as well. So definitely check this out. It is available in the mini catalog. If you do not have a copy of that and you would like that, let me know. If you do not have a demonstrator, I'd be happy to send you one. That mini catalog is good until June the 30th of 2022. So definitely hit me up if that's something that you're interested in. Let's go ahead and get started. I know that you're anxious to get started, and so am I. So we're going to start working on building our awesome scene here. So let's go ahead and get started. So the base of our card is a piece of thick Whisper White, and it's cut to 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And then we're going to use our bone folder to give it a nice score here, and then we're going to burnish. So there is our base. We're attaching a piece of 5 3/8 by 4 1/4 of Pacific Point. It's quite a brilliant, beautiful blue, and as you can see, just a hair of the white card sticks out. So let's go ahead and attach that down and get that out of the way. We're going to be using our Stampin' Seal to attach this layer. There we go. So let's go ahead and attach it, and like I said, you'll see just the barest hint of the white sticking out all the way around, and that was definitely planned. So now we're going to build our scene, and we're going to build our scene on a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 inch of basic white, but not the thick. The thick is used for the base of the card. And then I've used various pieces of basic white cardstock to build all of our elements. So we're going to start on this piece. I'm just going to set this aside. We are going to build a little scene on the inside of it, so when I need it, I'll go ahead and pull that out. I'm going to move our card to this side here, and hopefully you'll be able to still see it on the camera. I'm going to move my bone folder, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So to build our scene, you can see here that I have built the sea floor, and then I have a little bit of the ocean. So I'm going to grab a scrap of just copy paper, and I'm going to place it down here. We're going to start building our scene. So we're going to start with Sahara Sand, and we're going to ink up our blending brush, and we're going to dip that into Sahara Sand. We're going to move it in a circular motion, and I like to take that first little bit right off, and then we're going to just move our blending brush again in a circular motion. I'm going to grab some more, and we're going to do that one more time until we build our sea floor here, which is super simple and easy to do, as you can see. Now on the inside of the card, I told you that we have a scene, and we do have a little scene here, and we also need some of that Sahara Sand there. So I'm going to go ahead and deposit that next. So I'm just going to move this to the side. You can see how it, why we need that scrap paper underneath there. It builds that like little core. So we're going to go ahead and get that off, and we're going to work our ocean floor just a lot less right here onto the bottom of the inside of our card. I'm going to set that off to the side again. So now we're going to add actually the bubbles that are in the stamp set, but I chose to make them look like grain of sand. So I am just stamping it in over and over. I ink it once, and then I stamp it till it doesn't show anymore. And to me, that helps create a look of sand at the bottom of the ocean floor. Now, I don't believe I did that on the inside. Let me just peek. No, I didn't. I just left it alone. And I'm going to keep that just the way it is, pure like that. But I am going to clean those bubbles off because I am going to use them again on the inside of the card. And we're going to be using those in a separate color of ink. So I want to have those ready. So now we're going to go ahead and blend the blue color. So let me close our ocean floor color, our Sahara Sand, and we're going to start with a sneak peek color. This is called Tahitian Tide, and it will be available in our new annual catalog that begins on May 3rd. It is going to be one of the in colors, so it'll be around for 2 years, and I definitely love it. It is such a beautiful color, and I definitely wanted to use it today. So you guys get to see a sneak peek of this gorgeous turquoise-ish ocean color. So I'm going to brush off to the side. I always like to do that. And then we're going to blend our ocean scene into the background. And we're going to do it darker where it meets the sand, and then lighter as we go to the top. So it's okay to, you know, start with the heavy ink there, and then I'm just going to drag it up. And I do want the entire surface to have the blue, but I just want it to get darker as you get deeper into the ocean, just like the ocean is. All right, so there's our blue. Let's go ahead and get it going for the inside of our card. I'm going to move this out of the way. And we're going to build our little underwater scene here, same. This one's not quite as dark, but we're just going to add it so that you have that same look that we have on the outside of the card. We have a very small ocean floor. I'm just going to set that off to the side again. And I'm just going to fill in just a tiny bit more of what's left over of this one and really blend these two colors where the ocean floor meets the water. All right. I'm going to go ahead and close that ink. I'm going to move this piece out of the way. Now I do want to show you how I've achieved these different looks. So for our jellyfish, we have one that was stamped directly into the Tahitian Tide ink and stamped. For the next one, I wanted to blend it. So I started with my Coastal Cabana ink pad, and I just picked up just the slightest bit of the green, and I deposited that right there into the center with my blending brush. And then I picked up my Tahitian Tide onto my blending brush, and then I went around the outer edges, and I kept continuing, you know, to add more ink. We worked our way around, trying not to touch that center part. And we inked that all the way around, and I kept dipping it back in to get it darker and darker. When I was happy with my result, I'm going to show you on a scrap paper. When you stamp that down, you end up getting the darker color with the green on the inside. So that's how I got my second jellyfish. Now, of course, I would have had to add more and more ink, and I did just add it lightly because I really don't need the jellyfish in that color. I just wanted to be able to show you, but that is the result that you get right there are my two jellyfish. Now, we do want to use those same two colors on our die cut of our seagrass. So we have this piece, and I've just cut it out of the dies out of basic white. So we're just going to place it right here, and I'm going to start with the Coastal Cabana. I'm going to pick up some of that color, and you would think that that piece was that color, not white, right? So we're going to just start here. We're just going to deposit that ink. You can see when I use the color strongly, I get that nice layer, and I'm just going to build it. I want it to be a little bit darker at the bottom than it is at the top, and I'm going to add a second color. So we're going to go ahead and rub it farther down, and it is darker down there. And then we're going to go ahead and also grab our Tahitian Tide again. We're just going to add a little bit of blue right along these tips here. I just want it to have a little bit of a two-tone color, just like that. And that's how I got that seaweed. Now, the starfish here was done in the Coastal Cabana. And these two pieces of seagrass, those are also going to be in Tahitian Tide. So I'm going to open that back up. We can move our blending brushes out of the way, though. For my crab, if I had inked directly into my Pacific Point, I would have gotten a much darker ink. This is what Pacific Point looks on when you ink it directly into the stamp. You get this darker blue. And I didn't want my crab to be quite so dark. So I used my same thing, blending brush, and I dipped it into my Pacific Point, and I grabbed my crab here, and I just brushed it, and I kept doing it till he got a nice dark color. And even though it gets super dark, it is never this full darkness. It doesn't take on as much color when you use the blending brush. And then I went ahead and stamped it down and cut it out, and I will show you what he looks like. So here is our little crab. So we have him in our Pacific Point. So let's go ahead and start building our scene here. We're gonna put our seagrass over here, move our scraps, and we are going to stamp in the Tahitian Tide. We're gonna stamp our seagrass, and we are going to stamp it to the side here, which is why I have this scrap. And then I think I'm going to go a little lighter this time, so I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp that one down. So you have the two-tone look, and it will lighten as it seeps into the paper. All right, so now let's go ahead and add our sentiment. We're going to use the Pacific Point ink this time, and we're going to put that in the corner. And of course, I already told you that I did my starfish in our coastal cabana, but let's go ahead and stamp our words, wishing you oceans of happiness, in that corner there. That looks pretty good. All right, so we have built our base of our scene. Now we're still gonna have to stamp on the inside. We're gonna have to put our fishies in there and our bubbles, but we'll wait and do that at the end. I just want to make sure I've cleaned everything off, because let me tell you, I will stick my hand in it if I can. Hence the name Inky Hands Warm Hearts. So let me clean my stamps and get them out of the way, just to prevent calamity. So we're going to go ahead and grab my silicone mat. I always use this when I use wet glue. And I'm going to start with this little piece here, which is the white seagrass. We're just going to put some adhesive. It's going to get glued flat onto our card surface. Let me bring my card up so you guys can see. Hopefully that's in camera there. I think it is. So we're going to go ahead and put some adhesive onto this seagrass, and we're going to use our tweezers. I always use these as well because I don't like to get the ink on. And I'm going to place this kind of here in the middle on the ocean floor here. And now we can go ahead and attach this onto our card. So let's go ahead and grab our Stampin' Seal again. We will start the process of attaching this onto that beautiful, brilliant color, that Pacific Point. And I'll bring that card back in here. So this one is the piece that's 5 1/4 by 4. And as you can see, they all nest perfect. You get a little hint of each of the colors there, and just enough to pop up. All right. So there's our card. So now we're going to build our scene, and we're going to do that with Stampin' Dimensionals. I love using these. I go through a ton of them because I do use them for so many different things. And we're going to go ahead and build our scene with these. So we have them in 2 sizes. We have the minis and the regular size. We're going to start with the regular size. We're going to put 2 on this crab here. We're going to flip over our jellyfish. We'll put 1 there and 1 there. 1 here and 1 here. And then for my starfish, I like to put the mini right in the center. I don't think it needs any more than that, so that's perfect. So let's get those out of the way. Now I do use my Take Your Pick tool. That's what I like to use to take the backs off. So I'm gonna lift those off. I like that they stay stuck to the Take Your Pick tool, and then you can take them right to the trash can. They don't end up on your craft room floor. So let's get these last 2 off. All right, so let's go ahead and build our scene. We'll start with our little, excuse me, I have the hiccups. We're going to start with our little starfish. We'll put that in that corner there. The crab is going to cover this little part of the seagrass so that you can't see it. And he goes down here. I didn't stamp him quite as dark as I did here. I just didn't apply as much ink to the stamp. So if you stamp them and you want a little darker, just re-add some more ink and then try and stamp again. As you can see that this one is a lot darker as I stamped off. You got that kind of that underwater two-tone look. So this one is our pure Tahitian Tide, and this little jellyfish is going to be swimming up here. And then the second jellyfish is kind of swimming over here near this little seagrass. So there is our beautiful scene. Now we're going to build our scene on the inside. We have our pretty ocean water and our sand. Let's open this one so we can see. We're going to do a Pacific Point fish, and we're going to do one in Tahitian Tide, and there are 2 fish in the stamp set. So they do face each other, so I want to make sure I get the right fish. So we're going to start with the Pacific Point fish. We're going to put him down here like so. And then we're going to use the other fish in Tahitian Tide. So let me grab that color. And I will ink him up, and then I will clean both of them. Hopefully I will not get this ink on myself because I am rather good at that. I'm going to put him a little bit lower. Perfect. All right. And I'm going to clean those because with my luck, I'll drop the stamp right onto my mat. And then I'll have a Pacific Point blotch on my stamping mat. Okay, so let's get those guys out of the way. Now comes our bubbles, right? And the bubbles are going to go in Coastal Cabana. So I'm going to grab that one. And I'm going to go ahead and close this card so you can still see the front. We're going to go ahead and put our cute bubbles in between the fish. Right, like this, going up on our card. Isn't that just the cutest? I think it's pretty cool. I'm actually going to put a little bit more, there it is, Tahitian Tide around these little fishies. I just thought that it needed a little bit, and there was still some ink left on that stamp. Let's clean our Coastal Cabana, and then we will be finished. If you guys hear that snoring, that's my Yorkie. She likes to hang out with me in the craft studio, my stamp studio, so she's always in here with me. Now, our final touch, as you can see here, I have these really cute, what looks like underwater bubbles, right? Well, they are polished dots, and these are in our mini catalog. They're good until June 30th, and I love these clear. They come in a very pale pink and then a clear. We're going to use the clear ones, and we're going to use the Take Your Pick tool, the putty end, and we're going to put a set, a large and a small. So I'm going to grab those. We're going to put right about here. We're going to grab another small one and put it right above, like the bubbles are floating up. And then we're going to put another small one up here. Isn't this just the cutest? I love those. Look how cute they look. Aren't they adorable? I just think that all cards just need a little extra, like, kiss of love at the end, right? And that's what the embellishments do. That little bling, that little extra added touch that just finishes them right off. I think this turned out super awesome. I hope that you've enjoyed watching me build this scene. I have certainly enjoyed doing it for you. Definitely check out my blog, inkyhandswarmhearts.com. I do blog every day, so there's lots of inspiration always to inspire you there. All of my social media handles are in the description below, as are the links to the products that I use today. If there's anything you wish to purchase, it'll take you directly to my online store. You're going to click on the word shop with me. That will take you there. And definitely check out what my host code is. If you order under $150, please use the host code. It helps me to bring you these videos. I'm very grateful for those of you who are here with me till the end. Definitely check out my playlist, my other videos, and subscribe if you haven't already. I would appreciate all your likes, comments, and shares as well. Thank you again for watching. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. Just send me a comment or an email or contact me in some way. Like I said, all of that information is in the description below. Thanks again for watching. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!